The world's richest man is aiding Ukraine in the recent Russia-Ukraine conflict with the help of his most recent business venture, Starlink. After giving Ukraine access to the internet in the wake of a Russian cyber attack and challenging the Russian president to a combat on Twitter, it's not hard to tell where Elon stands on the issue. But how exactly is Musk helping Ukrainians? And is he doing more harm than good by stepping up against one of the world's superpowers, Russia? That too, while being the citizen of their long-standing enemy, the USA. In this video, we will be exploring the Russian-Ukraine conflict in the light of Elon Musk's recent actions. We will also be touching on what the USA has to do with the whole ordeal, and if Starlink is actually helping Ukrainians or not. In this video, we will show you how the tech mogul is helping the US stay ahead of Russia in the technology war. So join us as we explore how the US and Musk unveiled Starlink 2.0 in order to defeat Russia and Putin. Why is the US invested in the Russian-Ukraine conflict? Let's do a quick history recap, shall we? Then, we have to rewind to the Cold War to understand the United States' stake in the fight, and why there has always existed an undercurrent of hostility between the two superpowers, Russia and the USA. In 1949, the United States aided in forming NATO, or the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, to fight Soviet aggression in Europe. NATO has grown multiple times since then, with the addition of 3 former Soviet states. Ukraine, a former Soviet republic bordered on the east by Russia, is not a NATO member. Despite the alliance opening the door to its admission in 2008, Putin has urged that this not happen as part of his efforts to reduce NATO's presence near Russia's border. So NATO members bordering Russia are also concerned for US officials, and naturally, probably because Musk is an American citizen and not because of his Twitter obsession, is also invested in the conflict. How is Elon Musk's Starlink helping Ukraine? Elon Musk has been one of the most outspoken critics of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and it seems that he's down to help the war-torn country with his high-speed Starlink satellite constellation. Ukraine has been able to use this high-speed internet, as well as to find vital Russian areas thanks to the Starlink service. Naturally, as war broke out, any sane person would expect that the first thing Russia would seek to cut down is mode of connection and communication, severing the main channel, which is the internet. It'd be cut off, either through cyber attacks or destruction of internet infrastructure. But Musk came to the rescue. He immediately deployed spacex Starlink terminals to the country to provide satellite broadband connectivity, and more are on the way. And he's adamant about establishing that they cannot be shot down because of the logistical scale of Tesla's elite satellite network. In a statement, he's clearly said that it would be one hell of a challenge to take out the satellites. If you attempt to take out Starlink, this is not easy because there are 2,000 satellites, he said, adding, "That means a lot of anti-satellite missiles. I hope they do not have to put this to a test, but I think we can launch satellites faster than they can launch anti-satellite missiles." You'd think that with Musk being in such a big position of power, he'd choose the apolitical approach, but he's quite the opposite, much to our surprise. Musk has also stated that Russia must be stopped, and that their whole idea is absolutely crazy. Do you agree with the tech extraordinaire? Let us know in the comments below. But well, his Starlink satellite dishes, also known as dishes, were spotted in Ukraine. Elon Musk also commissioned Starlink's space internet service in the country, which ushered a round of positive headlines about his world-saving generosity. It's not clear if or when Ukraine will need alternative internet service, but one thing's for sure, it can't hurt to have the public support of the richest man in the world. However, some people are worried that his support could bring with it an additional risk. If Russia was to track down the satellite signals and target whoever was using them, concerns that Musk himself would ricochet several days later. But that isn't all. Musk is providing free electric car charging to refugees that are looking to flee Ukraine, and its creative features are assisting owners in a variety of ways. According to a recent Facebook post by a Tesla EV owner, Tesla's Camp Mode allows EV owners to provide housing to refugees and store commodities, such as firearms, food supplies, and fuel, which serve as a haven for the already displaced refugees. Tesla has also taken on the responsibility to continue to pay conscripted Ukrainian employees throughout Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. The Russian invasion of Ukraine has had a massive impact, resulting in hundreds of deaths and millions of people being displaced. Needless to say, they need all the help they can get at this point, and you know we all do, how the elite are going to capitalize off of this. Elon Musk's PR power takes suit, but needless to say, another massive benefit of having Musk on board has been the plethora of powerful names popping up behind him to support the cause. Other global tycoons include Fedorov, who is also Ukraine's Minister of Digital Transformation. He has appealed for a call to help during the invasion. Over the last several days, he's tweeted almost desperate pleas to Apple and Tim Cook to block or restrict App Store access in Russia. He's also further requested Google CEO Sundar Pichai and YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki to deplatform Russian state media. He's also written to Cloudflare CEO Matthew Prince to block Russia's access to its services, and to Meta and Mark Zuckerberg to block access to Facebook and Instagram in Russia. Fedorov has also tweeted at payment processors and crypto exchanges to cut off Russia, and called for cyber specialists to join an IT army. One can only hope this happens, but realistically, would that be wise? What do you guys think? Strategically, however, it seems that it's an elaborately curated but effective strategy. Russia is notorious, and we mean notorious, do the 2016 elections ring a bell, for using the internet to promote their propaganda through collaborative social media campaigns. But Ukraine has come up with its own social media tactics, with its leaders making Ukraine's case through personal, often heartfelt appeals on various channels. As Fedorov said in a tweet last week, win the hearts of the world while cutting off Russians from technology that's become essential to many aspects of their daily lives. And while Fedorov hasn't gotten any solid response on everything he's asked for from the other organizations and institutions, they have offered some help. Apple apparently restricted their supply chain in Russia, blocked Apple Pay in the country, and removed Russian state-controlled news apps from its app store outside Russia. Furthermore, YouTube is working to deplatform the Russian state-controlled media in Europe, while Google and YouTube have stopped monetizing ads on Russia's state-controlled webs and media platforms, whereas Meta is restricting access to Russian state-controlled media on Facebook and Instagram in the European Union, and demoting posts with links to Russian state-owned media globally. With Musk, however, Fedorov hit the bullseye. He got exactly what he asked for, from a CEO who loves the media attention and has a habit of landing into well-publicized problems of his own accord. Musk has time and again demonstrated almost a fascination to be at the crux of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and in several other ways too. He recently tweeted the SpaceX logo directly at a Russian official who had threatened that the International Space Station would collapse out of the sky if Russia was cut off from it. While Ukraine seems pleased with Musk's empathy and merciful compassion, it may not be necessary. There have been reports of intermittent internet outages in the country, but as The Guardian makes a point, it's no joke of a task for an invading army to completely render dysfunctionally a fully fledged internet system, which several vendors provide through several mediums, including cellular networks, fiber optic cables, and other satellite internet services. This isn't some third world country where one measly near-dead cable provides the internet supply to an entire nation, and it's perhaps even harder to cut the internet off in a country like Ukraine, which for years has faced cyber attacks from Russia. It's only logical to think that they'd be well equipped to deal with it. To sum it up, but as we come to our conclusion, we can't help but say that having Starlink seems, on the surface, to be a good thing, even if it is a hyper-dramatized portrayal of the very same old billionaire savior trope. The rich have to realize one thing, that they're not Bruce Wayne. The world, it seems, is in a state of perpetual chaos. The geopolitical stability in the stratosphere is incredibly volatile at the moment because Russia recently launched a war against Ukraine, which vehemently disturbed Ukraine's sovereignty and the people in it. And what's more is that, despite all the international pressure and condemnation, Russia has made a point to stick to their guns, quite literally. And with how it's looking, it doesn't seem like the war is going to end anytime soon. The US has always shared desires for a bright and prosperous future for all Ukrainians, and it's evident by the country's donation of $2 billion to a war-stricken Ukraine. Elon Musk is one of the wealthiest US citizens, providing help to the war-hit country, and he is doing everything he can to support the Ukrainian people. The self-made billionaire is helping to beat back the Russian offensive in Ukraine, but well apart from recent tensions between Russia and US over Ukraine, the two countries have been in a constant state of proxy war for more than 4 whole decades, and not even a billionaire with a flair for Twitter trolling can resolve this big of a conflict so fast. What do you think? Is Elon Musk being brave, or downright stupid and naive? Can Starlink be the answer to 45 years of political tensions? Let us know what you think about this whole ordeal in the comments below.